saw an article this morning. 10-year Treasury yield hits 3-year low. 30-year rate hits record low. So right now is the cheapest time for governments to borrow money in probably our history or possibly our lifetime. I anticipate that we probably have a massive backlog of capital budget projects as well. So can you kind of hit on what you're seeing as far as capital budget and projects we have backlogged and the impact of our yield market?
Sure, Representative, I'd be happy to. DGS is responsible for managing the portfolio of current and pending capital projects for all 29 agencies under the governor's jurisdiction, as well as for state-related educational institutions. We presently have, in terms of current projects, we have about $1.5 billion portfolio of projects that are either in design or construction. I agree with you that the low interest rate environment is one that's certainly likely to work to our benefit. And we do, in fact, have a backlog of capital projects that I know the agencies are anxious to get started on. We started about 3 years ago putting all of the agencies on a 3-year capital planning cycle. So we have better insight into what the agencies are planning to do than probably ever before. So we could produce a list of pending projects that the agencies are anxious to get done. I can share with you that throughout the governor's first term, we released and executed projects at historically low numbers overall, in an effort to keep the Commonwealth's debt, in order to keep the Commonwealth's debt under control. But I have recently been speaking with the governor and the governor's budget office about potentially expanding the number of projects that we do here in the coming year.
Okay, that's good to know, because again, we're not going to have this opportunity in our lifetime again.
I would point out just real quickly that DGS does not have a role in the determination about when to go to the bond market or how much to borrow. We manage the projects and budget pays for them.
Will do. If you could you get us the list of those projects so we can view how much, where they're at, and what counties they're located and so forth would be very helpful.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you. Separations Act, Chairman Everett of the State Government Committee asked me to address this with you. Last session you were asked about it, and you did answer at that time, possibly not necessarily a full repeal, essentially, but you did mention doing a thorough and independent evaluation of the risks involved with those stakeholders until we move forward with the Separations Act. Has your department done any work on that to date?
We have been working continuously throughout the last year and before to make the processes that we manage in order to run capital projects vastly more efficient, working within the constraints that the Separations Act offers. And I'm really proud that we've reduced cycle time for change orders, that we are managing projects dramatically more efficiently than we were. We have not spent a great deal of time or effort doing the research that I think would be necessary in order to make a determination about the Separations Act. As it stands, the governor does not support repealing the Separations Act because of the concerns that you just mentioned. I think that's an effort that I would anticipate that the General Assembly ought to undertake. As opposed to the department.
Okay. Have you looked at how some of our universities have done it? My understanding is universities can use their own dollars for construction versus when they get state dollars for capital projects. Have you discussed with them the differences between the construction projects they do with their own money versus those that were state funded?
I have not.
Okay. And maybe we can follow up on that, because I think the administrative burden's highly reduced from when they use their own money, as well as significant costs were saved through that. And maybe that's a good start to having further discussions on the Separations Act. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.